The Kenny Smooth Morning Show.
92Q Nationals R&B and throwbacks. It's the Kenny Smooth Morning Show. It is time to show some love on a Friday. It's time for Local Love, Sissy Brown. And
Yes.
who we got hanging out with us today?
He's a professional counselor and a certified professional life coach. Eric Capehart is in the studio. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, Sean, go Big Blue.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
man.
Yeah, go Big Blue. That's right.
For the
Oh, my
MTSU people in there.
MTSU. That's right.
That's Go Blue.
So,
Right.
Go ahead. So what made you decide to do this? What, a life coach? So
Yeah. So I really started off as a counselor because for 11 years I started a nonprofit called All the King's Men, and it was a mentoring organization for black males. And our mission was to reduce the likelihood that they would ever come in contact with juvenile court. And so after years of just sitting at kitchen tables with moms, just talking about their sons and all the things that they were dealing with at school, I just had this, I guess, an inclination to go and really figure out how to help deeper than just mentorship, because I could sit there and tell like something's going on here that I'm not really fully sure what's happening. And so I went and got a degree in professional counseling. And so I was able to help families deal with the mentorship is always important. It's just one key aspect to helping a young man grow up. But then when you can help them with their mental and their psychological well-being, that changes the game for those families and especially for those young boys. And so that's how I got started with it. Over the years, I've been a counselor for years. I counseled at TSU for many years, worked with athletes. And then I realized that counseling for me, it was almost like, first of all, it's colonized. The whole counseling industry is just like straight up colonized. Every person who created a modality or anything about counseling is some white European male, right? And so sometimes it doesn't always translate over into trying to help other people. And so that was one of the ways I felt boxed in. But then you have all these boundaries and these rules and ethics, which is fine. But for the type of help that I needed to give to people, I needed to be outside of the box. I needed to be able to speak to you in public, right? I needed to be able to see you and it not be awkward because I'm your therapist and we're not supposed to really engage with you outside of the office. And so I made a transition over into life coaching, but I do it so I still use my counseling skills, but it's really more free for me. It's a better lane for me to be in, and I really just enjoy it. So I got started out in this field just by helping out by being a mentor.
how can you make people, not make them, how do you encourage people to come and see you? Because I know a lot of people think, a counselor, I'm not crazy, or I'm that type of thing. So what do you do or say to convince people that may need your help to come and see you?
I just, really we just talk about it more. Right now, like mental health and going to talk to somebody is kind of like the cool thing to do. And so really I use what's called the relatability factor. When you see me, like you're not going to see a black male therapist with long hair. We're 1% of 1% of the industry. And so when you see me like posting about it on social media, it's like, I feel like I could probably talk to this guy. And so that's really how it works for me. A lot of people use me as a referral for someone to talk to. I don't really have to try to break down too many barriers because people are ready to talk. And so by the time they come to see me, they're like, I could talk to this guy. And then we sit down and we just have a regular conversation. I'm just using some skills, asking questions the right way. And I just make men, and I work mostly with men. I make them feel comfortable. And I ask them, do you feel weak right now talking to me? And they're like, no, I don't feel weak at all. How do you feel? Well, I feel good. I feel empowered. I needed somebody to talk to. So I'm just breaking down all those barriers really just by showing up as myself, to be honest with you.
That is amazing that you're working mostly with men, because I saw a TikTok the other day and it was professional athletes, and the guy was like, I'm just done. I'm over it. And they're like, man, we can drink, we can go talk, we can come together. And I made a comment, and one guy said, well, sometimes people use that against you and as weakness.
Yeah.
Like speaking to someone else. What do you say about that?
I mean, that's just an old machismo type of thing. That's just a lot of men say they were raised that way. I wasn't raised that way because I was raised by my mom and 4 sisters. I was the only male in the house. And so I was, I kept my stuff in, but not because someone told me I couldn't. But a lot of men, maybe you heard it, or maybe Kenny, you may have heard it, but
right.
You can't be, sad, or you can't talk to somebody because you're weak. That's just not really true. And if you ask a man, like, I don't know, maybe you guys have talked to men. Does that make you weak? Do you feel weak talking to somebody? Like,
no.
I've never felt weak, and sometimes I'm in sessions and
feel
I'm like,
better.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, if somebody busts in this room right now, I know what I'm going to do. What are you going to do? And they're like, hey, we're going to get down, right? So it's not a space to be weak, right?
Right.
So that's, really just doing things like this and just making it normal to talk to somebody, guys. We need to talk to somebody.
Give us your information, how they can get in touch with you and have a session.
Yeah, you can just go to Eric Capehart Coaching ericcapehartcoaching.com, and that's how you get a session with me. If you find me online, you can just DM me, and I'll send you some information, and we'll just go from there.
And that's Capehart.
That's right.
All right, guys. Man, you got to check this guy. He's amazing. You know, he's a real cat. I've been knowing him since, back in the day. He's working with the kids and the whole nine, man, and just watch him just develop into this amazing man. And thank you for doing what you do and keep out there, man, in them streets because they need you.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Capehart here in the studio. Local Love.